What is up, Sooner Nation Surgeaholics? How's everybody doing tonight? Appreciate everybody being on here. Already, chat is already going off. So you guys rock it as you usually do. See some good stuff. Monty, Dow, Damon, Bobby. Bobby, this is a great question. Started off with this. Uh, I think you're right with those two. I'm trying to think, and maybe some people will drop some other names. I'm trying to think who else you would put on that list. Um, a lot of people might say Lanning just because they're undefeated, and if they go undefeated, but I think Signetti and Prime have to be top two. I don't really know. I'm trying to think. I mean, other than those two, I think those are the two front runners. Bobby Steelerman says Sig. It's not even close. I think it might depend. Okay, if Prime runs the table up into the Big 12 championship game, and then they play BYU or whatever, and then Signetti loses to Ohio State or something, I don't know. What Prime has done is pretty impressive. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny it. Hub says, Dean Blevins said, no way Dan Mullen is coming to Oklahoma. Well, that might give me even more of a percentage that he might come to Oklahoma. Geez, who knows? I tell you, there's a lot of stuff going around. Yeah, exactly, Michael. Exactly, bud. There's a lot of stuff going around right now with Mullen and other people. You know what? We'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. I know it's kind of been the topic on Twitter today, other than the Mike Tyson, who else has got Tyson on right now? The Netflix stream. You talk about dropping the ball and fumbling. Absolute just squandered their chance, man. And then you have Jerry Jones on there talking about the NFL, Netflix. We're hoping to get Netflix. Well, they're running their chance right here. I mean, this is your chance to do it. Jerry Jones, not only does a Netflix stream suck, guys, the whole crew they got with it, I don't think is very good. I mean, you had Michael Irvin and Jerry Jones on a little bit ago, and it's just like, then Jerry Jones' microphone's not working. It's bad all around. Who do you got tonight? Tyson or Paul? I'm hoping Tyson wins. I'll tell you that right now. I really hope he does. Steven Alexander does not get enough love. Oh, he was a really good tight end, Mr. B. It's a name, you're right, though. I don't think a lot of people do talk about him as much as other guys. Yeah, Netflix fumbled it bad. Worse than any OU fumble. Is that fumble worse than the Jackson Arnold fumble? I don't know. Hunter is not on here tonight. I am solo right now, guys. I'm running the chat. I'm talking. I'm waiting on, I think Jeremy will be joining, but right now he's not. So it's me, myself, and Irene. Well, Irene's not here either. It's me, myself. Jackson, Netflix, Arnold. Bobby. Nice. Gray God says, Paul, it's rigged. There has been a lot of stuff going around about the script of this thing, so I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, Amazon would have been great. They've done this kind of stuff before. So can we beat the bye tomorrow? I don't know. It depends, Sooner fan. How many turnovers, though, are you going to have? Who are they going to play on the O-line? A lot of that depends. I mean, right now, I think it's a pick 'em. Hey, yeah, appreciate this, Monty. Thank you so much. I mean, I can give you an update, guys. He did have a heart attack last night, and he's, already got so many issues. I'll be going up there tomorrow to see him, but they're just trying to figure out what to do. Got a lot of blockage, and at his age, it's just so many other things going on. It's what do you do? So appreciate the prayers big time. That means a lot. It really does mean a lot from coming from me and Jeremy both. It does. So we appreciate that big time. So OU by a field goal, Hub says. Do we believe the 25 commits are still locked in? Damon, I think as of November 14th or 15th, whatever the day is, I've lost track of the days. Yes. But here's the thing. I think some of it might depend on the next two games. I think if you go out there and just get taken to the woodshed against Alabama and LSU, maybe things change. I mean, there's going to be a lot of flips. There's going to be a lot of commitments flips. You've already seen a lot in the last week. You're going to see more with NIL down the stretch. I think people dropping money and people changing. I thought it was very interesting. Underwood turned down the Michigan offer, it looks like, which is kind of crazy. I did see this. This is another topic we can talk about. Jaden O'Neal visiting Colorado. That's right. And, he's 2026. So we'll see what happens with that. I think it's so crazy, in my opinion, guys, and I'd like to know your thoughts on this. It's wild that guys commit that early anymore. I think it's kind of I don't want to use the word silly, but it kind of is. I do not see even a point in committing 2 years down the road. With all the NIL stuff out there, that's just the way I look at it, guys. I look at it, why? I know it's fine to get commits, but you can't honestly think a guy 2 years down the road committed is not going to visit other places. O'Neal won't be going with the Buffs unless Deion says. Did you see Michael Irvin tonight say he's putting it in Jerry Jones' ear about Deion? They're all going to push for Deion to go to Dallas at the end of the year. So we'll see if he does take that. I don't know. Money talks. We'll see. Yeah, I doubt Deion's there too, Sooner fan. I would doubt that for sure. It is silly. Some guys commit 3 years out, Greg says. I agree. I don't see a reason for it. I mean, I just don't. Now, maybe a lower star, maybe a 3-star or something, but some of the bigger guys, I just don't see it. And Damon, this is a fair comment. I don't disagree, really. I know it is a kind of a weird statement, but I'm with you. It's too far down the road. We don't even know at this point who's going to be the coaches. I mean, we'll see. Hopefully it works out next year and these guys turn around. I know some people mentioned Dan Mullen on here and about his offense and what he runs, and it's outdated. It's not outdated, okay? Dan Mullen coaches offense. He puts guys in positions to win. He puts guys – it's a matchup offense. He puts guys in positions to make plays. He's good with development on quarterbacks. I mean, we'll see, though. Who knows? Nobody knows if he's coming or not. You're seeing a lot more rumblings about it now, but I'm going to have to see something a little more down the road here. But, hey, it's the guy I wanted from – gosh, probably, I mean, you can go back to the live probably 3 weeks to a month ago. He was the guy I was hollering about. So I'd love it. Absolutely would love it. And I think it would be great. It is interesting. More and more people are starting to talk about it. That is for sure. No, Germ did not go start his own Boomer Surge. He knows it would be second fiddle to Sooner Surge. Okay. He's not going to do that. If Jace McClellan and Kamar Wheaton hasn't taught you all about commitment, then you'll never learn. Yeah, it's a different age too. Yeah, undefeated Thunder since losing champ. By the way, their defense the last 2 games. Let me say this real quick. The defense was great the last 2 games, but guys, the offenses they played were brutal. They had injuries again on the Suns tonight, and they couldn't hit a shot for the life of them. And I thought it was hilarious watching Booker get frustrated. I thought it was great. I've heard some rumblings of this, Zias. I just don't know how truthful they are on any. I mean, I just don't know. Of course, they're going to talk about it. He's from the Florida area. I think it's going to be hard for any offensive-minded guy to go into there with Norvell there. I think he's a little too hands-on. Unless you're getting a real young guy, kind of like BV did with Allie. That would be the only shot, I think. Lakers are hot. Lakers are a good team, guys. Dalton Neck is a good team. So, yeah, not only KD, but they also had Bradley Beal out tonight, great God. So they were really down. McClellan's at New Mexico State. Huh? Missouri. What are you talking about, Mark? Tulsa had their hearts ripped out last night. Man, that was a brutal game to end it, man. I know a lot of people were bashing the play call. If it works, it's great. If it doesn't, I didn't even see the play call, so I can't really comment on it. What else is on everybody's mind tonight? When Jerem gets on here, we'll try to open it up for callers. But what else is on your mind tonight? What else would y'all like to talk about? I think it's going to be kind of nice tomorrow to have a bye week. I'm not going to lie. It really is. Just for the fact that, go watch a lot of football. Yeah, that's it, Bobby. I think that's who he's talking about too, is Seth McGowan. Did you guys see the Missouri stuff? Now they're down to their 3rd or 4th string quarterback. South Carolina is going to take them to the woodshed. No doubt about it. It sounds like Nico's playing. I don't know who y'all got in that game, Tennessee or Georgia. Guys, I'm picking Tennessee. I know it's in Georgia. I'm picking Tennessee in that game. I really am. I am not sold on Georgia this year. I'm going to take Tennessee. Give me Tennessee. And I'll tell you another game. I'll tell you another game to watch tomorrow. Arkansas, Texas. I think it's going to be closer than people think. Texas coming off the blowout loss to Ole Miss. Arkansas coming off that loss to Ole Miss. I think they play a lot better coming off a bye week at 11 o'clock. And I don't care, Chuck. I'm just saying, I'm just bringing up something, okay? I don't care who wins the game. I really don't. Yeah, Pine wasn't hurt last week. I know. Let's see here. Tennessee, Texas, SEC championship game could happen. Very well could happen. What's on your mind with OU tonight? Let's talk a little OU. It's a bye week. Jay, some smoke. Arkansas quarterback guy. I know. Hey, we'll see what happens, Michael. We'll see what happens. But you got bye week. You got who else thinks on the offensive line? I want to get your thoughts on this. Who else thinks offensively on the line that the left side of the line with Howland and Ozida has actually been it's been okay. I think they've been getting better. I do. I think they're getting better the more they play. They should have played them early on when they were fighting all the injuries with like Hatchett and Hickman and Sexton. Do you remember all the injuries they were fighting? And we were all saying, just play the young guys, get them some experience. I think they would be a lot better right now because I do think those guys are getting better. I really do. Those two specifically. I think, man, Howland got destroyed. He got it handed to him, guys. There's no hiding about it. But I do think last week that left side, a lot of their gashing runs they had, I say gashing, just the more yardage runs they had came off that left side. Jay, OU might be the new Vanderbilt. Correct. They could be, Chuck. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, Chuck. Do you? I don't know. They got to get it turned around this year. They got to get it turned around in the offseason. And I mean early, December. You have to get this ship righted with an OC and with the portal, period. There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. You got to hit the portal and you got to get a good OC. That's all there is to it. So, and it has to happen ASAP. And to me, it needs to be a guy that you know is going to work out and you don't have to mess with it. BV doesn't have to mess with the offense. That's what needs to happen. You go back and look at Bob Stoops when he went and hired Mike Leach. Bob Stoops had absolutely nothing to do with the offense under Mike Leach. He basically said, Mike, do what you need to do on offense. It was a whole new offense, the spread offense, the air raid. It was a new thing. And Mike ran it. And that's kind of, I think, what you need at OU next year. You need somebody that's going to take control, coach them up, develop, scheme them up so they get in a position where they can make plays without having a tight end running a wide receiver screen, without having a tight end running a 1 yard out pass, without having a tight end lined up against the best defensive end in the nation trying to block him. Do things that are going to help your guys out and try to get points. Sign stealing analyst, Kel Gundy. There's our number Kel Gundy comment of the night. Bobby, if they aren't very active at the top of the portal come December, there should be major concern. I agree, Bobby. That should tell you a lot. If you keep Brent Venables and they don't go all in on the portal, I think you got big issues. You have to. Greg Gott said start the tampering. Hey, you saw Jeff Levy this week. He said people are tampering with Mississippi State. It's happening everywhere. You're not going to control it. And you got to get guys, period. If you underbid on some guys you really need, AKA last year, you had Lance Hurd. You had some other guys that a perfect example, I think. Now, it wasn't a portal guy, but Jordan Seaton out of Colorado is playing pretty well as a true freshman there. You have to – and you know what? This might be a case – and tell me what you guys think. This might be a case this year that we may all have to bite the bullet and say they paid way too much for that guy. You're going to have to probably overpay to get some guys. And when I say overpay, I mean overpay based on maybe their principles or where they think they should be paying for guys. I think you're going to have to step it up, or you're just not going to land them. You're not. How many days after the LSU game does OU hire the new OC? As soon as possible. As soon as possible. I mean, it's going to have to be very quickly, okay? In fact, they should already know, in my opinion, and it should be done ASAP. Hey, Jerm, what's up tonight?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going, man. It's going. I like Arbuckle, Hub. I like him. I don't think he's my number one right now, but he's up there in my list. He's up there. I have him ahead of Craddock, in my opinion. I'll say that. I think I have Mullen, Arbuckle up there as my maybe my top two right now.
I'm not. I think I may be one, Jay, that's lower on Arbuckle than a lot of people.
So who would your two be? You got Mullen one as well?
Yeah, and I'm still saying Mullen and Bell. And here's why. I think they're opposite.
Cade Bell to me is not.
I think Bell is if you want an up and comer, I think Mullen is the guy because of the SEC experience, all the things he offers.
Yeah, and Mark's talking about Dirk Cutter. Dirk Cutter's at Boise State, Mark. And I agree with Bob.
Dirk Cutter would be on my top three. But
no,
I don't think he's leaving Boise. So
no, he's not on my list. Hey, Arbuckle, I agree with Bobby. I think Arbuckle, if you're looking at an up-and-comer, you mentioned if you put him in the same category as Craddock, same category as Cade Bell, same category as Brennan Marion, and same category as Arbuckle, I'm going Arbuckle out of those. That's my opinion. I think he would be the one out of those guys. Yeah, you are getting Mateer probably.
No, hey, can I say something real quick?
Sure.
I wasn't on last night, but I know people have said about Craddock, Jay, with Mensa. I know people are saying it with Arbuckle. Can we kind of stop with the let's go get this guy so that we can get a quarterback? Because they pretty much did that with Seth Luttrell for Jackson Arnold. How'd that work out?
Yeah,
how'd that work out?
Jeremy, I don't think people are saying go get the quarterback. I think people are saying he would come with him is what they're saying. I think maybe you're.
But I think there's a mindset where people are saying, let's get this coordinator so we can get this quarterback. I don't like that.
There's probably better quarterbacks out there you could go get in the portal at the end of the year. I think there'll be better guys out there.
Exactly.
But you know what's crazy? And this is going to blow your mind probably. But that Underwood quarterback that got offered $10.5 million. How can you offer any high school guy that much money? Look at Jackson Arnold. Jackson Arnold was one of the top recruits. Somebody probably this year, if he was coming out, would have offered him $10 million.
Where is that money at?
Well, I mean, Barstool Sports, Dave Portnoy backs Michigan. He's already said that he would put $3 to $4 million to the best quarterback every year to come to Michigan. So you're getting money like that. So I'm just saying it's hard for me. You could do it to a guy in the portal that you know is good, but some of these guys first coming out as freshmen, it was over a 4-year span, I believe, Chester, 10.5 over the 4-year maybe. But it's hard for me when you see some of these young quarterbacks get there and they don't pan out. It's hard for me to throw that money at them, but they're going to get a ton of money thrown at them. That's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. So, and you know what? If Jackson Arnold enters the portal, he'll get paid really good, guys. He will. He will.
What do you think his price would be? I would say $1 to $2 million.
Oh, I think yeah, he'll be in the. I think so, Jerm.
Benjamin says what quarterbacks are going to take us to the next level? There's not any, in my opinion. We don't know who's in the portal yet. That's the thing. How do we even gauge that?
You don't gauge it. You don't know.
Is there a quarterback from a team that you think might be looking to transfer? I mean, that's the question.
Well, I've always thought about this guy. Now, I'm not saying anything about that you pay him big bucks, but the guy Illinois, Altmaier, that used to be at Ole Miss. Now, I'm just saying a guy. I'm not saying him specifically, but a guy like that was highly recruited. No, I'm saying a guy that's highly recruited that's on an offense that doesn't really throw it all around the field or something. I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm trying to, because you look at a guy like Cam Ward. Ward went from Incarnate Word to Washington State to Miami. He kind of progressed, right? A guy like that would go from even like a smaller school to maybe I don't know. I don't know, Jeremy. Nobody knows who's going to be out there.
Hey,
what about this question?
Well, I was going to get to Chuck too. Go ahead with yours, Jay.
With what? There's your Chuck question. Is that the one you're wanting?
I was just going to say, Chuck, haven't seen your comments in a while. Appreciate you being back. Let the OC bring whoever they want. Are you talking coaches or players?
I think both. I
agree. It shouldn't just be one or the other. It should be both. Let them bring whoever they want.
I agree. Let me see. Let me get to the it was KB that talked about, do you think they haven't announced it yet because they're getting a guy that's still coaching? No, here's what I would say to that, KB. I think Brent Venables last year making the quick decision in 2 days and hiring Seth, he's going to, whether he's got his guy or not right now, he's not making a decision. He's not saying it until the end of the year. Even if it was Dan Mullen, I think he's going to wait.
Jay.
Yeah.
Obviously, you mentioned Dan Mullen, I mean, as early as anyone out there. I know people have said, well, that may be gaining traction. What are your thoughts on Dan Mullen as far as percentage chance that he's even remotely even going to pursue it? Has he said or not said anything to lead you to believe, like, okay, I think this guy definitely wants to coach again?
The only thing he said that and this is why I even brought it up like 3 weeks ago, whatever it was the whole Chip Kelly situation. I see a lot of comparisons. I mean, Chip Kelly, he's at Ohio State getting paid, what's he getting, $2 to $2.25 million a year, I think. So now you would have to pay Dan Mullen big time money. He's not leaving ESPN with that. I mean, you're going to make him probably the highest paid OC in the nation is what you'd have to do. I'm talking like $2.5, $3 million a year is what you would have to pay him to get him. Now, does that wet his lips enough to get off the ESPN broadcast crew and go to Norman and coach with BV and all you're dealing with there? That's the holdup is, okay, because they are not the same when you talk just their personalities. But you know what? That's not always a bad thing either. So I think it would have to be how much room would BV give this OC? Like, just to be like, hey, it almost be like, hey, you're dealing with that team OC offense. You know what I mean? Just run that thing.
Well,
I'll be the overseer, but
Danny, let me say something, Danny. I hate comments where it's, well, should we keep them if we lose by 50 to LSU and Bama? Well, I don't know. Should we? Could have, would have, should have. I don't know what's going to happen. But according to the president of the university and the AD, BV is the guy. I won't change my opinion on that until I hear from them. The next thing is Bobby. I agree with one of your comments here. I think Colin Klein is a definite. I would agree. Colin Klein, I think, is a definite possibility for OC. I'm not personally in love with what he does scheme-wise.
Here's the difference. Here's what you have.
It's nothing out of the ordinary. It doesn't really get me that excited, but.
Well, out of those three that Bobby listed there, Arbuckle runs a totally different offense. He's air raid completely. Craddock has a little more play action and stuff. Colin is even different. So they're all three different in the type of offense they run. That's what you get to ask yourself too, is what does BV want to be running on offense? Hey, Chuck, appreciate you coming back, man. It's been a lot of negative this year, but that's, you know what? It's nice to have this outlet for people to have it and talk whatever they want to talk about. Chester brings up something here. I think it's not the C word in Joe C. I think it's the C word in compliance that has a lot of people. I hear it a lot from people, the compliance. I don't know the answer to all that. I really, I'm not in it enough, but I mean, I think he brings up an interesting point. Danny, here's the thing. You were wrong on the Missouri game. So
I'll shave my head if Bama beats us by 40.
40 or 50, Jerm?
40. They're not beating OU by 40.
All right. You heard it on November 15th. Jeremy, 25 minutes into the live, he will shave his head if OU loses by 40 or more points. Wow. Okay, Jerm. That'd be right before Thanksgiving.
Yep. Great time to shave it.
Michael says compliance has zero to do with NIL. What do you think?
I agree with him, actually. Because, Jay, what was compliance have to do with money? I mean, the compliance would maybe be an issue is maybe we're not going to allow you to tamper or you're going to follow all the rules, but it has nothing to do with how much money you can get.
I agree with not how much money you give or how much money you get. I agree with that. I agree. I think there's a lot of things, though, that, I don't know enough to even talk about it, to be honest with you. So I probably just shouldn't.
Hey,
I think
I can't wait till game week. At least it'll be something to talk about. Everyone who says Milroe will just absolutely abuse. Milroe's had some bad games this year, guys.
He has. I agree.
OU's been good against the run.
I agree, Jerm. I think Milroe, if you can stop him running the ball and make him beat you throwing, that's what the risk you're going to have to take if you're OU. Now, OU they've been beaten in the passing game, but I think you do have to risk it with them. I do. Quarterback power and the occasional, that's what they're going to try to do. You're right. Every other team in the SEC is tampering. Oh, you better get with the program. Everybody's tampering. It's not just SEC. It's all over.
I promise you I'm not the only one confident in OU's run defense. But by the way, they're second in the country.
Yeah, they're number 2 in the country in run defense.
So people who want to rip me for talking about OU's run defense have some issues.
And let me ask you this as far as OCs, and maybe we should do this. And I don't know if are you wanting to open up the phone lines, Jeremy? I don't know if you're able where you're at or what you're doing. So I just
yeah. If I lose signal or something and get knocked off, but I should be good.
All right, I'll drop it in here for people that want to call in. But what I would like to know is on the OCs. Give me, like, say Arbuckle. What do you love about him? What's hesitant about him? Mullen. What do you like about Mullen? Where are you hesitant on Mullen about? I know Bobby's mentioned a few times the recruiting part of Mullen. He's hesitant with that. So I'd love to know, like, let's get some positives and negatives of each, maybe guys that we're calling quote unquote candidates.
Yeah, well, I got one for you. What Platoon 20 says, Platoon 20. I'm not thrilled with Colin Klein's offense.
I'm not thrilled. I'm not thrilled with it either.
And I hate to say this, if they go after Colin Klein, I think I'm not excited about the hire if that's who it was, Jay, because to me, I still think there's OU ties. I think it'd be Bill Snyder saying, go get this guy, to Bob Stoops. Bob Stoops telling BV, yep, get this guy type of
Mark's deal. Talking about Mullen's character. Arbuckle, is that the best we can do? So looks like we got a caller on the line. We got John. What's up, John?
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you tonight?
Yeah, I just wanted to touch on something that with DeMarco Murray, Xavier Robinson needs to be starting right now. I'm tired of this. I just see a real pattern with him not playing the most talented running backs, and kind of the go-to line of, crap that I keep hearing is, well, you're not seeing what we're seeing in practice. Well, if there's that big of a gap between the results you're getting in the game and what, as a coach, you think you're seeing in practice, maybe you're the problem.
Hey, John, it's an interesting point, and here's my thing. Let's be honest. When you're in the season, how much, quote, like practice, it's not like you're scrimmaging. I mean, what are you seeing through drills or what?
It just sounds to me like playing
Is it
favorites.
game plan? Like the game plan they're not getting? The
Yeah.
picking up blitzes. I mean, I wonder what they mean by.
I'll tell you what it is, John. John, I'm going to tell you and this is Jeremy's opinion, so take that for what it is, which probably isn't much. I think DeMarco Murray's a control freak.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like to me. I'm seeing I'm seeing this across the board on the offensive staff. I mean, you read the tea leaves, everything from, Bedenbaugh just steadfastly refusing to play the freshman. And then you got Murray, who just refuses to play his most talented backs. I mean, you can be a great recruiter, but if you're not going to play your best people, what difference does it make?
I agree, John. And you talked about, was it you that just said playing favorites or a little bit? Think
Yeah.
about this. And I think Taylor Tatum is going to be really good at OU. At least I hope he is.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, his ball security hasn't been great, yet he has not really seemed to have been had any consequences for bad ball security.
Right.
Whereas other guys seem to make one mistake and they're not getting on the field.
Yeah, I've seen him pull guys for far less than that, and for missing a block here and there or whatever. I just like the fact that we're seeing Xavier Robinson so little, but every time he goes in there, he just looks like the best running back. I just think is a real indictment on DeMarco's personnel decisions. And it's not like this. We've seen this before. I saw this a little bit last year, honestly. And between him and Bedenbaugh, and I just put in the comment too that kind of zooming out. Listen, I know that we talk about having to hire a home run offensive coordinator, and I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing: if we have even a top 50 offense right now, I don't know that we have more than one loss. I don't. There's just a big difference between a mediocre offense and the worst offense ever. I think a lot of these games would have been gettable if we just had an offense that didn't turn the ball over, 3 or 4 times a game. This is horrible.
It's horrible. That's exactly right, John. It can't get any worse. You're dead last already in offense, so it's bad.
Yeah.
So, hey, thanks for the call, John. Appreciate it.
You got it, guys. Thanks. Take care.
Hey, and Jerm, before we get to Greg, I want to say something about what John said too. And I wonder this. I do. You can sit here and blame DeMarco Murray. You can blame other coaches. But who's the overseer of the program? If Brent Venables thinks Xavier Robinson should be playing, shouldn't we be having a meeting with DeMarco saying, hey, this guy needs in there? I mean, like, you also have to I'm just saying, yeah, DeMarco, maybe he picks the guys that go in. Well, so does the OC and so does the head coach, because you're all supposed to be working together. I think that's the problem with this OU team. There's not a connect. The offense, there is no connection. The running back coach is not working with the OC. The OC is not. I mean, it's just all a cluttered mess on offense. That's what it is. Hey, let's get to Greg. What's up, Greg?
Hey, what's up? And I liked John's call. He made a lot of good points. And I think DeMarco, if he left the program for whatever reason, I really don't think we'd miss him, to be honest. There's plenty other good running back coaches out there who can bring good guys in. I mean, look at the guys who we played against that are rushing the ball better than us. I mean, I think, yeah, we wouldn't miss him. But the point I was going to make here, and it kind of blows my mind how quickly the Brent Venables coaching tree is filling out. I mean, he's going into, ending his 3rd season, and we're already technically on our 4th offensive coordinator, 2 defensive coordinators into this. And, with the coaching changes coming up, who knows what else. But I mean, is that not a bad sign? I mean, if we're crying out loud,
let me just say this, Greg,
the turnover rate of our coaches, for goodness sake. Yeah.
Greg, I just know this. In my profession, if I have to hire and fire a lot of people in a 1 to 2 year period, it reflects on me.
Oh, yeah.
And it reflects that I made the bad choices. So I think, I think you're right about that. It does. In the end, I mean, to have to fire Ted Roof, to fire now Levy left, I get it, but to the trail stuff, it doesn't look good for Brent Venables for sure.
No, not at all. And they need to figure it out fast.
Yeah.
Here's what I was going to say with what Coconut Greg said. And There's this saying, guys. You guys have heard it. I think it's actually in a song by Switchfoot. Uh, you never know what you've got until it's gone. And it's always used in a way where you say, yeah, we really missed him. But let's look at the other side. You really don't know what you got until it's gone, because maybe someone new is better. But no one ever wants to talk about that very much in that quote. But I think it could fit with someone like DeMarco Murray. Heck, it could probably fit with a lot of coaches.
But yes, I agree. But at this point, we've kind of seen these problems from a coach like DeMarco for a little while now. And at what
Agreed.
point is Brett Venables going to step in and say, okay, all right, you're bringing good guys in, but let's nail down this rotation? He's delegating responsibility too much. He like we've talked about, the buck stops with him. At what point is he going to say, okay, if y'all can't figure it out, I'm at least going to try? Now, maybe it'd be better, maybe it wouldn't, but we're stagnant right now at best. At worst, we're falling behind. I'm really hoping this new offensive coordinator really fixes things, but I'll be honest, there's no one out there that I think is a realistic hire for us that really excites me all that much. Now, maybe it's just, I don't know enough about a lot of these potential coaches, but there's no realistic home run hire that I am
Or
imagining.
OC?
Yeah. There's guys that I think are good, but
what about Mullen?
Like,
what do you not like about Mullen? The recruiting aspect?
the only thing I don't like about Mullen yet is he too old school for the modern era of college football? Is he going to be able to handle, in the NIL stuff?
Well,
Is he and all that? I
don't
just
know
don't
if he
know.
has to. I don't know if he has to.
He has to handle NIL with the quarterback. That's what he needs to figure.
All, in my opinion, all Dan Mullen has to do is call plays and be a quarterback guru and get the quarterback he wants with NIL. Other than that, let the other guys cook on the recruiting trail and other things.
I don't totally disagree with that, but so much now players are going somewhere because of a coach or because of the money. It's not the glitz and glamour of OU
Right.
or any other program that is
You're
drawing
right.
these top players in now. So they're going to play for specific people, and I would want to use every aspect of that to our advantage. And I think if we have someone who could potentially be as influential as the offensive coordinator, and if they're going to take a big back seat in recruiting, I just that worries me. That's all. Now maybe I'm overthinking it, but that's my
No,
thought on it anyway.
I think it's a fair argument. It's a fair point. So I don't disagree. And I do like what Bobby said up here. Hey, thanks for the call, Greg. Appreciate it.
Always. Yeah.
As always, man. Hey, I do like what Bobby said a little bit on the DeMarco Murray stuff, because I would agree with this a little bit. In the fact that he says that he wouldn't miss him, just like Greg said. But I do think you would be kind of naive, not like he's done really well in recruiting. You can say that maybe he's not done well at coaching, but the recruiting he has done good at. But here's my thing. I'd love to know people's thoughts on this. I don't understand why it's on the running back coach, the wide receiver coach, to be the only one that says this guy should be playing. To me, if you have an actual OC, they're saying, I want these guys on the two-back set. There's just not a connection there with what they have going on the staff. It's not. To me, it should be like, if you don't like who DeMarco's playing, get somebody else in there. I mean, if it's not working out, if I'm an OC and I can see Xavier Robinson's really good, why is the OC not saying I want him in the first drive? That's why I think Dan Mullen would be really good. I think Dan Mullen would be like, hey, this is what we're doing.
Hey,
get on board.
And on the note about Dan Mullen, I know it was Iowa Sooner said, wouldn't Mullen threaten BV, or BV be threatened by Mullen? I say no, because I don't
Maybe
think
it's good.
I don't think Dan Mullen would be getting back into coaching to be a head coach. I don't think he would be a coach in waiting necessarily even. I think if Mullen gets back into coaching, he just wants to geek out and call plays, period.
Hey, the other thing is this. Somebody made a comparison. It's not a bad comparison. As Michael. OU's Todd Monken. Just a guy calling plays, man. Huh? I mean, OC. So worst. Whoever they hire is better than what we have now. Let me click that. Yeah, that's right. But I think, listen, you could go. I think you can mention guys like Craddock, and you could say some positives, and you could say some negatives. You can mention Arbuckle, you can say some positives, you could say some negatives. You mention Mullen, you can say some positives, you can say some negatives. You can say about all of it. But who is the one guy you think that Brent Venables could go hire, that if it didn't work out, people wouldn't say that was a terrible hire? Like Seth Luttrell, you can say that because
Dan
he didn't
Mullen
really have.
Dan Mullen's the only
What's
one.
You think you think if they hire Arbuckle and it doesn't work out, people will say that was a bad hire because he's too young, inexperienced?
Yes. Now, obviously, a guy like someone that's proven, I think is less risky. Is there anyone else that's proven, Jay? Tell me how you think. What is Arbuckle proven? And same.
Well, here's what I love about Arbuckle. You ready to tell me what I love about Arbuckle?
Yeah, I'm waiting for you.
I love that Arbuckle quit his job because he wanted to get into coaching, volunteered as a coach, got promoted like that, then got promoted like that, then got promoted like that. So I think he's a guy that really wants to coach, and he is climbing the ladder so fast. You know who I kind of compare him to? I kind of compare him a little bit to Sean McVay, in the fact that very young, kind of you didn't really hear about him, and then they just kind of blew up. Same thing could go with, if you remember Brad Stevens in basketball. He was like working somewhere. He decided he wanted to coach basketball, and he climbed the ladder so fast. I think Arbuckle could be one of those guys that he's that smart, and he's just very young and inexperienced. But
hey,
I do think he could have that kind of aura about him.
Jody says Dean Blevins said today Mullen won't come because of of the uncertainty, and more or less said OU isn't as coveted as we think as the OC.
And like I said earlier, Jody, if Dean Blevins said that, if Dean Blevins said that, it might be more true that it's not that. I mean,
and
nothing against Dean. I'm just saying nobody knows.
Yeah, I'm not even going to read that comment. Hey, I'll say this: he's not getting fired. So why even talk about it right now?
He's not getting fired.
It's ridiculous to keep talking about it.
Here's the thing, and who knows if Mullen's even considering it? Nobody knows. Monty, he coached at Florida, was his last coaching gig, and he got fired his last year, got let go. Everybody remembers it. OU whooped him in the Cotton Bowl. Remember it? Remember they had all those guys sit out. They opted out of the bowl game. That was his last time. Do you remember that, Jerm?
Kyle Trask, Jay. Kyle Trask.
But and Mr. B Thurman's not a Mullen guy. But what I'm saying is the 3 years leading up to that at Florida, they were in New Year's Eve bowls, SEC championships. So it's not like he had 3 bad years in a row. It was 1 year, and I think he was checked out, to be honest with you.
And he had top 12 recruiting classes 3 of his last years, I believe.
As a head coach in the SEC, yeah.
What about this? The constant – I'll say this. And I think this is a good comparison, so stay with me, Jay. I've had coaches, I've had teachers, I've seen coaches have super high expectations. And when you go in a classroom or you go on the practice field, the intensity is so heavy that one of two things will happen. Either players, as Iowa Sooners says, will be psychologically, emotionally just drained, or players will kind of rise to that expectation. And here's what I think. I think you've seen both on OU this year. You've seen both type.
Maybe so. I mean, Hub says he's heard Saban was the same way, though.
Well, yeah, and Saban got
Here's
out of
the thing. When you lose, everything is magnified. The culture aspect of it that everyone's bashing right now, it's magnified because you're losing. If they were winning, everyone would be saying, this is awesome. So everything's magnified when you lose games. period. So, wait, who won that fight? Who won the fight? Still waiting on the Tyson. Jeremy, you going to watch that? Well, we'll be on a Thunder Live, I think, maybe. I don't know. Can't get Netflix to work anyway. It's a disaster. Money talks. Danny, you think we win the next 2 games? I don't know.
Hey, Board of Regents do matter.
Correct.
Danny, that's wrong. Board of Regents do matter. 6-0 Chevy says, I'm a Sooner regardless if they win or lose. My allegiance doesn't waver.
I'm with you. I'm a Sooner.
I'm with you. My allegiance hasn't wavered.
Tyson fight up next. You couldn't pay me. I don't care what number you paid me. I'm not getting in a ring with him. Are you?
I would go fight Mike Tyson tonight.
No, you wouldn't.
Listen to me, Jay.
Yerm, come on.
I would get off this live, fly me to wherever their fight is. I would take one punch, pay me $1 million, and I'd be perfectly fine.
You would take a one punch for $1 million from him?
100%. I'd shave my head just like I said I would do. What?
You might die.
I'm not going to die from one punch.
Germ. I don't think you would stand there and take it.
Jay, I'll say
Danny
this.
says you agree with Danny then. Danny and Jeremy agree. This is history, guys. They agree on something. And there's no chance I'm doing
Danny,
that.
you're right, man. I've always loved you, Danny. That's right. Take one shot. Your about 10% can go to your medical bill if you need one. And then you live on the 90%. And Jay, one shot from Mike Tyson, I'm still going to have more brain cells in my head than you do. So
that's not true. And there's no way you will. Hey, 6-0, y'all rehashing all these has-been coaches for OC. Drop who you think, 6-0, right now. Drop it in there or call in. Who do you think should be the OC?
Wait, is Arbuckle a has-been? I think you're only saying that about Mullen, but give me another has-been.
Yeah, who do you think? Who would you go for? I'd be interested to know. Who would you go for? And Sooner Cowboy, the legendary every night, Rashad Samples, baby. I love me some Rashad Samples. Chip Kelly isn't he? What I think is hilarious is all the people that love Chip Kelly. What did he ever do? Other than the 1 year at Oregon. I mean,
Jay, what is Chip Kelly and Dan Mullen's age?
I think they're very similar.
I think they're very similar. I would say Dan Mullen was as good of a head coach as Chip Kelly was.
And he was in a lot tougher conference. It's hard to tell.
But people who say Chip Kelly's it and Dan Mullen can't be it, I don't know what
I like Chip Kelly, but he's not leaving Ohio State as an OC to come to OU as an OC. It's not happening. If it had been last year and he was open to coming, yeah, I would be with you on that. But it's not happening.
A name that no one's mentioned because he's not coming from Ohio State either because he's probably going to go NFL as Heartline.
Yeah, he hasn't called plays, Jerm. Hey, by the way, 6-0, how can you say Mullen's a has-been and Chip isn't? I don't know his record, but I don't know what Chip Kelly's record was his last 5 years of coaching. I can't think it was that great.
Danny, do you want Mullen? I thought you said you didn't want him. I would love Mullen.
Signetti and Shanahan. Yeah, Jimmy, it's not going to happen. Is Signetti the coach of the year? Bobby asked this earlier, Jerm. Is he the coach of the year right now, probably?
Well, yeah, right now they're undefeated, Jay.
Do you have Dion number 2? Hey, Bobby, different.
Cannot compare the two.
The Pac-12 was weak at that time. Come on. And I want to know, what was his record at UCLA? I'm just interested to know. I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, but Danny, you want to say and look, I said I'm not super high on Arbuckle, but you can't say Arbuckle is a has-been. He's young.
So Chip Kelly's 60, Mullen's only 52. I didn't know that. Wow, Mullen's younger than I thought. He's younger than I thought. But so I guess 35 and 34 at UCLA. So that's not a has-been, 6-0, but you want him.
Hey,
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't care. I like chips.
I agree. I agree with Coconut Greg. Listen, I'm going to say it right now, November 15th. I've already said a couple of dumb things, according to Jay, about getting in the ring with Tyson and shaving my head. Listen, I think Indiana's going to make it into the playoff and get absolutely throttled. This Signetti talk's going to die out very quickly.
Well, I think right now when you look at the playoff thing, I think Penn State and Indiana are both ranked way too high. I don't think either of them are that good. I mean, I think they're good, but I don't think they're not. To me, those two teams can't compete for a national championship. I don't think. I'm sorry. I just don't think.
Who's 60-4? Who y'all are desperate? Type in the chat right now or call in right now. Say desperate and tell me what hires would be desperate hires. And by the way, maybe they are desperate because desperate times call for desperate measures.
He can't chill because y'all won't let him with the constant complaining. I'm not sure who we're talking about here. I'm not sure, guys. I'm confused on this, 6-0. Sorry. Primetime. Hey, if you're for a head coach, I think Primetime's going to Dallas, but Primetime's, I'll say this, he has absolutely proved me wrong. I did not think they could do what they did by how many portal players they got. He did. He ran a bunch of players off. Some of them were pretty good. I mean, look at the guy that went to K-State, Donovan Edwards. Remember him? But they're doing well. So, and who knows, KB, you could be right on this for sure. I think that's what we're going to find out next year, though. For sure, we'll find out next year. I don't know if we lost Jern.
I'm here.
Okay. I didn't know if we lost you. Anything else tonight before we get off here? I know the Tyson fight will be starting soon. How many rounds, Jerm?
Round, Jay.
What's that?
1 round. I'm here.
Oh, you're here. You're in person, live and in person, baby.
Live 3 minutes.
Nice. So tomorrow, bye week.
Hey.
Yeah.
Let me. I was going to give update on Dad.
Yeah, do that.
Did you already do one, Jay?
I mentioned the heart attack, and I didn't go into a whole lot of detail. But yeah, you can if you want to do that.
We appreciate everyone on here. He's been praying. Our dad is also a praying guy, and we don't know what the future holds. We know who holds the future. Had good conversations tonight. He's in good spirits. So yeah, we'll see what kind of is done moving forward on treatment wise or what they're going to do. But appreciate everyone who asks each and every night. Some of you guys send messages to us. Man, it's great to have a community like this who can talk sports, but also who kind of help encourage each other as well. So appreciate it. And I'm saying no on the go-go.
I think I remember 6-0 in previous lives. He does like Marion, which is fine. A lot of people do like Marion.
Brendan Merriam's lost his luster. It's like.
But somebody mentioned this last night. Wouldn't it make more sense for him to go to Florida State because of Norvell and his connection? He played for Norvell at TU.
I agree, Jay. It would be better probably, or make more sense to go there.
Appreciate that, KB. And let's end it with this question, I think, maybe. What's been worse, our season or Netflix? Well, let me say this. Both had high expectations, Bobby. I mean, the OU fans, we had high expectations for OU. The people that watching Netflix tonight, they had high expectations. Here's what I'll say, though. Thank goodness this isn't back in 1990 when you're playing pay-per-view and you're paying for this. Now, I think now maybe some people did subscribe to Netflix tonight just to get it. Now, that's not me. I have Netflix, so I'm not out any money on this. I could care less, really. It is frustrating, but I think both seasons are bad. They're both buff. That's a great comment, KB. Both buffering. And what are the chances of that, Jeremy? That Coconut Greg said. What are the chances it's not Colin Klein, it's not Arbuckle, it's not Craddock, it's not Marion, it's not Mullen? What's the chance it's not one of those five?
Slim to none.
10%?
I think, guys, I have so much faith in the Surgeaholics. We're gonna talk about this guy before it's mentioned, Jay. And we're probably less than 18 days from the new OC being announced. Think about that, guys. Less than 18 days probably from it happening.
That's right.
So,
I would
hey.
think so too. So,
hey, thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate
yeah.
being on here, Jay. Thanks for carrying at the beginning of this
Yeah.
as I was out. But we'll have a Thunder Forum Live coming up soon. It's a Thunder One Big tonight. But enjoy your college football tomorrow. We'll be on here tomorrow night to break it down and talk more with you, the Surgeaholics. We appreciate you so much. You guys have a super Saturday.